Good Monday morning. It's that time of the week again, the beginning where we have so much opportunity in front of us to kick ass and live head first all week long. It's time for Monday Morning with Megs. What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday morning to you. Super pumped to get this week kicked off. So let's get into it. I was scrolling the gram the other day looking for some more homies in the LGBT space and whatever. And I came across the Gay Life Coach. You can find his handle. That's his handle on Instagram, just the Gay Life Coach. And his name is Brian. And he has a bunch of quotes up. He's got a podcast. He has a life coaching kind of biz here going on. And he had this quote up that I thought was super, super good. And it says, "Without the story that I'm limited, I am infinite." And I think it struck me kind of because one of the interviews that I did for the Out What Now podcast, which if you haven't checked it out, you should definitely do. But one of the interviews I did, the first one I did with Hannah Stranger, go check it out. We talked kind of about after you have come out and you've gone through some different mindset shifts about what is possible for you, the more you get exposure to kind of seeing yourself in successful outcomes, because when you're in the LGBT community, you don't always see yourself represented in successful outcomes like a happy marriage with a house and a picket fence and a dog and 2 kids. You don't really see a lot of that. Or you might not see, somebody who looks like you in like a high level successful entrepreneur position or a corporate position or in the education field or whatever. Where there's not representation, it can become difficult to see where you might fit into that narrative or for that outcome to be something that is possible for you. And that's for anyone. We all create stories about what we can or can't do and why we can or cannot do them and what our limits are. And I think what he said here, which was really important, is that it's this story that you are limited. And when you're part of like a marginalized group or something, it's society maybe who's telling you this story. You might have stories that have come from a lot of different places. Things your parents have said, something a teacher said to you once, something a coach said, something a partner said, whatever, that has now led you to believe that you have limits on, I don't know, the career you can get, the type of family you can have, where you can travel, what you could successfully do if you wanted to get into some kind of business or advance in your career, how much money you're able to make or could manage or whatever. We all have different ideas about what we can or can't do and reasons that those things are quote unquote actually true for us. And I think it's important to really look at the language we're using, either actually verbally in the things that we say when we're complaining about whatever our shit is. I think you hear this a lot, especially from women, or in the realm of health and fitness and what body type they may or may not be able to achieve, or what they believe about what they can or can't do in the gym, those types of things. I think paying attention to some of the common themes that come out of your mouth when you're speaking about the things that you can or can't do, what you're talking to your friends about or your partners or your coworkers or whatever, and also sort of the internal dialogue that you have going on, and really being intentional about looking at what those things are and maybe evaluating a little bit about their validity and where you're spending some of your mental energy. We've talked a couple of times now about spending more time and energy on a solution versus time and energy on the problem and what might come up or what might not go well, or just talking about what has happened in the past instead of evaluating, changing, and then moving forward into the future and putting energy into solving the problem. And I think if you can take the time to kind of pay attention to what language you're using both internally and externally in the way you're talking about yourself and your life and your situation and why you are or are not doing the things that you would or would not like to do, if you can evaluate where those are at and see how you can change some of that language and get yourself to a spot where you're sort of unseating this story that these are actual limitations. Because most of the time we come up with these ideas about these big, huge barriers that we have, even though there are other ways or alternative options for getting resources or knowledge or tools or whatever that you need in order to start creating change and being more successful. So I think paying attention to those little things that you've got playing in your head about what you can or can't do, or why things that you try to do aren't working or don't seem to be getting you to a place where you're successful or happy with what you've done, to really hone in on what those stories are and where you're spending your energy. If it's on, really building up this story of a limit that you have, or if your energy is focused on undoing that story and removing some of those barriers by asking for help or doing little things to create change and being more solution focused. And I think what you will find is that when you start to undo some of those stories and realize that you are not limited, that you are going to truly become limitless. And the floodgates to opportunity and success can really open up there in a lot of different realms of your life. So think about it. Pay attention to the words that are coming out of your mouth, to the words that are swirling around in your head. Knock that shit off and start putting your energy into solutions, or at least just getting a more positive story, movie, and kind of rerun of the story that you have to be moving toward a more positive solution based type of story. That is all I have for you this morning. I hope you have the best week of your life. I'll catch you back here next Monday. Until then, make sure that you're having fun, being yourself, and living head first. Thank you so much for tuning in to Head First Radio today. I hope you had a good time, got some value, and are leaving feeling a little lighter and more fired up than you were before you pushed play. If that is the case, I would be so appreciative if you would take the time to leave a 5-star rating and review, and or share this episode with somebody you feel could use the message and the opportunity to start living head first in their own life. I'm so appreciative of your support, and I can't wait to catch you back here soon.